Oh, hello, and welcome to Dente Rigamortis. I'm Review Cultist.
And I'm Dr. Leviathan.
And we're here to discuss those internet stories, most creepy and most pasta. Tonight we have Birthday Party.
Which is kind of apt.
Yeah, since it is the birthday of this episode, of this series.
I think we're one past, but whatever.
Yeah, we had Slender Month.
Yeah.
Slender Month kind of christens the end of a year for us.
You people listening have no idea how long he's been. You're like, oh, I can't wait for
Slender
fucking
Month.
Slender Month. Basically a whole year.
Yeah, pretty much.
Like, oh, we just missed Slender Month. Oh, we'll get it next time. I'm like, fuck. All right.
It was one of the first, specials I came up with for this. Like, oh, yeah, we could do, a special thing. It's like, when Slender Man came out. Oh, June? Shit, that came out, the same month we started our stuff. All right, well, whatever. We'll do it next year. But yes, we're doing Birthday Party, which was sent to me by one of my relatives on my birthday, which was, a month ago, but we had Slender Month. And I felt that, we should maybe do this one because it was aptly themed. At least until I read it, because I'm not really sure what this has to do.
There isn't a single apple in here.
Don't make me make you read Happy Appy.
Just when you listen to it, when you said aptly, it sounded like appley.
Nice. All right. So...
Also,
yeah.
Don't threaten me. That'll backfire.
We will actually have to read Happy Appy, and I'm going to cry, because even Matt from Drunk and the Ugly hates that one, because it's longer than Godzilla. Something you have to look forward to, listeners. For the listeners at home, Dr. Leviathan is just, sat back and just, in complete and utter awe or horror. And now he's regretting everything.
No. I'm just looking at the past year of my life and wondering what I did and realizing that there's a lot of answers to that.
We'll get into we are gonna. This is also gonna be a kind of look back on the year of doing this, but we'll start off with Birthday Party. So, Birthday Party is essentially a poem. It was written by Miss Shadow Lovely, which is a popular YouTuber that does readings and stuff of creepypastas and SCP reports and stuff. I've listened to a couple of her stuff. It's pretty good. It's she does a lot of... She puts in a lot of clips and a lot of editing and stuff to her audio. So, yeah, pretty good. But this is something she wrote, and she actually had Mr.Creepypasta help her do a reading of it, and it's on Mr. Creepypasta's channel, so you can go check it out there. It's only 3 or 4 minutes long. And the poem itself, or the rhyme, is between two siblings, a brother and a sister. And essentially it's just, they're psychotic. They're killers, and they're discussing how they're going to trap their friends and kill them, and all the horrible things that they're going to do to them in this little rhyme. It starts off tick tock, time goes by, tick tock, close your eyes. Now, sister dear, you've made a mess. What's that you say? It's on my dress? Your dress was white, and now it's red. It's not my fault. They bled and bled. And so on and so forth. And it gets more grisly and more kind of dark as it goes on. They go down to their planning. They go down to their cellar to find one of their previous victims, and they've died, so they're going to cut them up and put them in a stew, and then feed them to the person's brother, and make sure that they know that they're feeding the sister to the brother. And then they get a knock on the door upstairs, and it's a bunch of people, I guess, coming for a birthday party. I'm assuming that's why
Based on the title?
Based on the title, I'm guessing that's why why it's called that. So they have friends coming over, unsuspecting that they're going into the house of murderers, and they go upstairs to harvest. So they're planning on going up, trapping their friends, probably roofing them or whatever, and then keeping them away and whatnot, and killing them. And that's pretty much the poem. It's very brief. Like I said, 4 minutes long to read. it had a. I remember I read it. I've read it twice, and I've listened to it once. And the first two times I read it, I had like there's a good rhythm and beat to it, and then it kind of I don't know. It felt like it fell short by the end.
What happens is there's a pattern change at the end, and it's not like just a simple little change. It's a change where you're reading it and you're like, hey, it stopped rhyming, but the rhymes are just in different places, or at least, you know, in my obsession with looking for a pattern, I found rhymes in different places, but there's less of a pattern to where they are. It's not just bam, 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 bam. Now, this is why with this one, I can't really, like, I could get angry, but I can't, because it's a poem, so, like, essentially. So I'm reading it as a poem, and I just can't. With writing, there are rules. With writing poetry, there are no rules. There are guidelines, but to throw them out the window is an acceptable course of action. Now, in this one, with these two, the lack of your pattern and whatnot could, like your rhyming scheme, could be almost symbolic of, like, the chaos that's about to ensue.
Yeah.
Now, that could also be me reading way too much into it. But that's
the thing about poetry, is that it's kind of hard to critique, or not even critique, but critique, because there's interpretation. Like, it's not like a solid story.
Well, you can't say it's right, you can't say it's wrong. Yeah. And I mean, like, there is no story here.
It's just
there's just lines that rhyme, you know? Like, you could take any two lines out and it wouldn't matter, because it would still go along in the same process. So, you know, story-wise, well, there fucking isn't one.
Yeah,
of course not. It's a goddamn poem.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, the most we get is that, we're reading the dialogue of two insane siblings, which apparently, like, this is only one story, or one poem out of a bunch of them that that Miss Shadow Lovely has written about dear brother and dear sister, or brother dear and brother sister, or brother dear and sister dear. And it's all, like, different dialogues or something. We'd have to actually go back to, maybe go to the other ones and take a look, but for this one's just kind of a snippet of, like, what they do. In a poem, so
yeah, it's
like you can kind of take it like as if it's just their dialogue, but like it's more of a poem than even that. So
yeah, it's
and it gets really it's grisly at the end. Although I saw some comments saying that it was like almost some of the gore, like the gory details at the bottom near the end of the poem, kind of like detracted from the creepiness. I'm not sure how to think about that one, because it's at the same time, and like it is kind of creepy and morbid what they're talking about, but I don't think it necessarily detracts from the creepiness. Like, it's not overt. Like, it's pretty grisly, but it's not overt.
There's an escalation too, and I mean it kind of starts out pretty high, so for it to continue escalating, it's gonna go to, you know,
cupcake,
what some people might call a grisly place. I don't know. I didn't really have a problem with it myself. I didn't like when I finished reading, I didn't think, well, it got a little too dark at the end. I was like, no, your pattern fell apart and blah blah blah.
Yeah.
Like it's I don't know.
Yeah,
maybe I also just have a thicker skin than the people commenting.
Yeah,
it can happen.
That's true. I mean, well, we also are both avid horror fans and stuff, so. I don't know, there is a creep factor in it, but I also kind of thought it was, I don't know, it's that kind of cutesy creepy, because it is like two siblings, like finishing each other's lines and stuff, or continuing the rhyme.
Well, yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So, I don't know.
It was more, for me, it was more adorable than creepy or gory or anything like that.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like the fucking when the little girls are doing the rhyme in any Freddy movie.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, exactly.
This one has, you know, more shall we say, details.
Yeah, pretty much. Actually, like I said, the reading of it by Mr. Creepypasta and Miss Shadow Lovely is also like gives it a nice creep factor because they add in little nuances like giggling and like their tone of their voice, like at certain things becomes both like happy and childish and then malevolent. So in certain spots, so it was a nice touch. But yeah, like I mean, there's not a whole lot else to say really about this one because it's just a poem, like a creepy poem.
Yeah.
Would you recommend it? Because I mean, I would recommend it as a creepy, little adorable story, like to creep somebody out, maybe to send it to somebody. But I don't know if it's recommended as a creepypasta.
I would probably recommend it more as the reading than
for
as the poem, just because it's probably going to be, better delivery and such. Whereas reading it, you can kind of...
You don't really... Like you have your own mental version of like how they're saying it, but the reading like gives you a definite like way of how they say it.
Well, and it's just it would be creepier if you're not trying to read a poem. I mean, it's not an overly complex thing, but it's also not just simple story.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, it's kind of a
as it is. I really have a hard time recommending poetry to anything or or something like this just because, I don't know, it's poetry, like it's hard to... It doesn't have, well, I mean, it's not even that. It's like, well, yeah, because a lot of people just don't want to read, like they hear the word poetry and they're like, ah! But I don't know, I have a hard time recommending anything like this to someone because it's so subjective, like... Yeah, you could read it. It takes 2 minutes, and then you move on with your life.
Mm-hmm.
You liked it or you hated it, but at the same time, maybe you really fucking hate it, and it actually just really pisses you off.
Yeah,
and that just doesn't seem like it's worth wasting 2 minutes on.
True.
So,
I might go back and see what the other
maybe
ones are.
Just because it is, it's quick, it's short. I honestly. My personal opinion was that for what it is, it's a little on the long side. I read something like... if I read something like this, I usually want it to be, just a touch shorter. That's my personal opinion.
Mm-hmm.
But I read things like this, and they usually fall apart at the end. So they should always be a little bit shorter, because they usually fall apart at the end.
Yeah.
Well, it's not like they force the rhymes or they force their pattern, and it's not really something you should ever do, because then the reader is reading it and they're like, oh, you forced it there. Oh, you forced it there. Man, you're getting fucking that one doesn't really work. And
yeah.
You know what I mean? That's I don't know, in my experience that's how that usually goes. And like I said, that might have been the problem with the loss of flow at the end of this one. I mean, it might have been intentional. It might have been to, allude to the chaos that's about to come, or the excitement in their minds, or any number of
it could
things.
Be,
I mean, you could bullshit this to the fucking end of days, and it doesn't change the fact that some people will accept that, and some people will just be like, well, you couldn't hold your pattern long enough.
Yeah.
And instead of stopping writing, you kept writing. Why would you do that?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
It's one of the things with art forms is that it's all open to interpretation, and a lot of bullshit can be used to explain why it's good or why it's bad.
Yeah.
So, yeah, unfortunately, it's a hard bag to try and put down. Oh yeah, I would recommend this, or I wouldn't. So,
but I mean, it's quick, it's short.
There's nice readings of it.
It's not the greatest thing I've ever read, but I mean, by God, it wouldn't even crack the top 20 on this fucking what I've read for this show. So,
as bad, for top 20?
Exactly.
Okay, good.
This is. It was really just unoffensive one way or the other. It didn't really, this time tomorrow, I will have forgotten all about this.
Yeah.
It will not stick with me. Whereas, if it was really shitty, or if it was really awesome, it'll stick in my memory, at least for a week, right?
Yeah.
But this
Like,
is...
did you read this morning before I got here?
No, I read it last night.
Okay. Cool.
It's... And, I mean, yeah, like I said, I read it last night, and, like, the actual specifics and the details, most of them are out of my mind.
Yeah.
So I'm really just talking about my impression, like, the impression it left on me.
Mm-hmm. Which seems to be, like, kind of the middle ground. Not
horrible,
but not
impressive.
Yeah.
It's not offensive. I mean, if you've got a weak stomach, you're not gonna like how it's not even detailed, but just the stuff they're talking about, you're not gonna like that. But I mean, hey, maybe you shouldn't be reading, from a website,
called creepypasta.wiki.
Exactly.
Yeah, I was actually I remember like reading through it, like doing the whole reading, and I was just like, why am I remembering Cupcakes? The My Little Pony one.
I don't know.
Because it was like...
I was actually... this one totally reminded me of Wednesday and Pugsley Adams.
Yeah, okay, yeah, I could see
Except
that.
for the fact that, if they both had the personality of Wednesday.
Yeah, Yeah, I could see that. Yeah, I could definitely see the Addams Family, or like that kind of gloomy, or like that kind of creepy gloom.
If it wasn't a fucking
sibling,
if it wasn't a sitcom from like the black and white era, because I'm not talking about the movies, folks.
No.
But if it was actually like people fucked up like that, trying to live in the normal world, yeah, Wednesday and Pugsley Adams would be these two fucking kids.
Yeah. Nice. Fair enough. Yeah.
If their dialogue wasn't written for laughs.
Yeah, if it was like more, we're going to try to do this a little bit more seriously, to add in a little bit more creep factor than like being a comedic sitcom about creepy parents and families. Yeah, so, alright. So go read it or listen to it at your own leisure. If you've listened to us just ramble for the last 10
Give it a listen and, come to your own conclusions. Maybe you I don't know. I don't even think I've said anything concrete about my opinion of it. Yeah. So, it's not like anyone's going to agree or disagree with me apparently. But, read it, draw your own conclusions, because that's really the only... That's the only real, honest critique you can really give about poetry, in my opinion. That is, one man's opinion, but there it is. It's a poem. Read it. Draw your own conclusions. If you love it, bravo for you. If you hate it,
well, that's good
say
too.
la vie.
Yeah.
That's just how the cookie crumbles.
All right.
You only wasted a couple of minutes of your life.
Exactly, yeah. Which, when it comes to creepypastas, I mean, I love reading creepypasta, but even I know, like, sometimes we get some ones that are just like, why did I just waste that much time?
Yep,
and we'll get into that with our like kind of yearly overview. But before that, yeah. So I'm thinking actually I might include the other ones that she's done. The other Dear Sister, Dear Brother stories or prose or whatever, as like maybe side dishes to other episodes down the road, though.
Oh, good.
Yeah, so you have that to look forward to, Doctor.
At the end of the day, they're not horrible.
No, so
there could be worse things.
Yeah. All right. So yeah, that's our thing for the birthday party one. So let's go into the. We've been doing this for about a year. Really, what? Let's just get some like highlights and lowlights kind of thing. Like, what was your favorite one that we've done?
Oh,
just thinking on it. Like, I can edit if we
God, favorite, like favorite episode or favorite pasta? Because we'll
start off with favorite episode, and then we'll see like favorite pasta if those are different.
Favorite episode, God. Well, I mean, we've done 50 of the fucking things. It's gotta be fucking... Christ, now I can't even remember his name. Jeff the Killer.
Really? Okay.
It's gotta be,
the episode.
For favorite episode, that one...
That was episode 3, I think?
Yeah, that's the thing.
Holy shit.
It was really fun for me to do, like, just because I got, like...
angry.
This is before I really had a full grasp of just the complete and utter range of
the medium
creepypasta, and I just here I was presented with something that was apparently, according to you, ridiculously popular.
According to the internet.
Well, no, according to you, because you're the one that told me.
Yeah.
It was ridiculously popular, and it was such shit. And I was like, great.
This is what I have to look forward to for the next...
I get to tell, like, I get to, you know, fucking take my place on the internet and make a stance of, I hate what you all love because it's shit, not because, you know... So, just, like, looking forward to that, a little bit of dread. I honestly thought there would be, you know...
More hate
some
mail.
backlash from it.
Yeah,
But there wasn't. So, yeah, that was just everything about that episode, except reading fucking Jeff the Killer, was a big hoot for me.
Yeah. I think my favorite episode, anyway, so far would probably be where it's just us, 1999. Just because that was a fun... Like, to me, I liked that. I really enjoyed that pasta, and I liked how we both had different conclusions to that. Like, you were... I didn't like things about that story because it went a little too realistic. You liked that story because it went... It was kind of darker and more, like, realistic darker.
Wasn't that like the second episode?
Fuck yeah, that was.
Alright, apparently we peaked early, and we've just been fucking hopefully coasting instead of dropping.
Well, that's episodes, but yeah. Wow. Yeah. Yeah, no, I just really enjoyed, like, the banter that came out of that one. And I think it was also because it was that story particularly was close to home, to a degree, at least in terms of, like, where it was located and stuff, and we were discussing that.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Favorite, then so far, your favorite actual story that we've had to do?
Because there have actually been some good ones, but honestly, I so much more easily remember the shit ones. But just off the top of my head, because, yeah, P.S. is a little spur of the moment.
Yeah, well...
Fuck, what was the Christmas tree one?
Oh, yeah, it's called the Christmas tree.
That one was that one was alright. Mm-hmm. But I think it's a toss-up between that and...
That wasn't my...
The Road.
Oh, The Road? Okay.
The Road was, I mean, you know, hey, talk about recent. The Road was just, it was well done. I didn't necessarily catch all of the twists, like all of the little, you know, like hints for later as early as I would with most other things. It was well written. It didn't, you know, drag itself out too overly much. And it wasn't, you know... It was good. It was well written. It reminded me kind of, you know, the Hellraiser movies, the, like, Inferno and Hellseeker. Just a little bit, and that's usually always enough to give me positive feelings towards something.
Fair enough. Oh. With me, it's probably going to be... It would actually be a toss-up between...
Oh, and I've got to give Six-Legged Rape Centaur an honorable mention, because it was unfortunately named, but it was actually a pretty decent story. But anywho. Yeah.
I'd actually really like somebody to do more stories on that. Although just maybe rename him something else.
Yeah.
Because that name is a little too... Yeah.
It's a shock name, and there's no shock in the fucking story. But anywho.
Yeah, mine would be a toss-up. Maybe not a toss-up, but like there'd be honorable mentions afterward. That wasn't my husband sleeping next to me. That whole story, like as like in its parts, like you could have read. Like I remember reading that for the first time and like feeling that I could have read any one of these stories, or I could have read like the first part of it and be done. Read the second or third part and be done, or like read the entire thing in its entirety and be just as. And I was just as like thrilled because the way the person ended the parts left it so that if the guy didn't reply, like post another one the next day or like the next like whatever he posted it would not be an incomplete story. It would not be an incomplete story for the wrong reason. Like it ended like it's like, oh man, we're waiting on a Tim Hortons, waiting to find out what happens. Like we've got minutes to go. Hopefully we'll be able to post something afterward. And then like if it had stopped there, like that would have been really interesting. But then we kept going because they kept doing it, and then we got the full, complete story and cosmology of that plot of that whole, like, what was stalking them and stuff, and it was really cool. So yeah, I think that one is probably one of my favorites that we've done so far. Christmas Tree would be an honorable mention, and so would actually Room Zero. I would really enjoy it because I had just come back from freaking Disney World, actually, like weeks after that one. The sequel to Abandoned by Disney.
Okay.
The one with the sliders, water slide.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just like. It was. I think it was also. It was in turn because I had just come back from like Disney World like a month or so before that, so I knew I had a little bit more grasp of like what the setting was all about. But yeah, okay. So now we're going down to the other side of the spectrum. What do you think was your worst episode?
My least favorite episode.
Yeah, least favorite episode. Yeah.
Honestly, it's probably Christmas Tree, just because like I liked the story. So
there wasn't a whole lot of
yeah, there was no like I wasn't looking forward to doing the episode because like I liked the story and I always know that those are going to be kind of shite episodes for me. They're going to be boring. I'm not going to be as entertaining to myself or anyone listening.
Yeah. Yeah, because we're going to be just primarily, like, if we both agree on that we like it, then we're just going to be praising it. And, like, kind of like, oh, well, there's also this bad stuff, but this is all the good stuff about it.
Yeah. Like,
yeah. That is something that we've come across a couple of times on the show. Is
yeah,
like,
so any episode where we both liked it, like, although it's a nice treat, for us, I know that they result in shite episodes. And, well, maybe not shit, but, just not as entertaining. Maybe informative, but not as entertaining.
Yeah.
If you can call what we do informative.
Maybe, just a little bit.
Some people might. I don't know. Hopefully.
I mean, the reason I even put this, like, the idea for doing this podcast in the first place was because I wanted to see discussion of these stories. Like, I saw a bunch of podcasts that were reading them, like Mr.Creepypasta and Miss Shadow Lovely and all that stuff, but very few people were putting out podcasts that just talked about them. Like, and I understand it's like more or less a book club, essentially, kind of thing, but it's kind of what we do, if you think about it. Like, we read a pasta, and then we discuss it, so...
Next week on Dente Rigamortis, Tuesdays with Maury.
Yeah. So yeah, but like at the same time, like I find seeing what other people think of these stories, or like, and especially when like we have you, when I have you on the show, when I added you to the show, it's like I knew like I was going to get like a different opinion from what I would think for these pastas, because I go into almost every one of these pastas. There are exceptions. Loving the stories, or liking the stories at the very least, or finding something good in it.
Well, and you always go in looking for the good.
Yeah,
and like. As frustrating as that can be sometimes, it's also kind of refreshing to just have that.
Yeah. Just as much as it's refreshing to have, like... I mean, I don't always...
what are you talking about? My stance is the fucking norm.
Clearly.
Like, especially on the internet.
Yeah.
I hate it? Ooh.
Yeah.
So do 25 million other people.
But I mean, like, for the podcast, like, it's... I'm glad that we have this kind of dynamic where, like, you go in with a little bit more criticism. Cynicism, yeah. Cynicism, yeah, okay. And I go in with more, like, hey, let's read the story and, like, talk about what we thought about it and what was cool about it, right? And then you're just like, no, I hate it. Like,
there was nothing cool about this.
This is why. And then sometimes I'm like, oh, yeah, that is kind of a thing. Okay.
I got caught up in the moment.
But yeah, so I didn't mean to take away. So that was your least favorite, was the Christmas one, because
the Christmas tree one stands out in my memory as just being a poor episode. But I know that oftentimes when we like it, or even sometimes just I myself like it, it's not that I don't enjoy doing the episode, because like I love doing every episode, but I just don't have that fire under me where it's like, not only am I looking forward to doing the episode, but I have to do it because people have to know how shite this is.
Yeah.
And, that's an honest motivator for me on the really bad ones. And it's just, that fire isn't there when the story is actually good. Or at least when I think it is.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, I'm thinking my least favorite of the episodes that we've done is probably Herobrine and Witness, just as an episode, because I don't know, we were both really tired that day.
Yeah,
and we just weren't getting enough. Like, we weren't getting enough discussion of either drastic or even like praise, because you didn't really like either of those stories, and I was like, I had like written up some stuff for it, and I was kind of like gung ho for Herobrine, and I had some of my stuff for it, but it was really just kind of, I don't know, I felt like it just felt like it was kind of like me pulling.
Our energy's usually up here, but that episode we were down a little bit.
Exactly, yeah. So, yeah, that one's definitely my least favorite. So, least favorite story.
Okay, obviously, if anyone's been listening to us over the past year, I'm pretty sure, as no big surprise, there's going to be a lot of honorable mentions. Worst story? Oh, fuck, I had such a good one in my head just a little while ago. Oh, it was so bad. Right. Probably my least favorite is Russian Sleep Experiment.
Yeah, you didn't like that one at all.
There was just, I mean, I'm pretty sure it wasn't, like, horribly written. I mean, it wasn't overly greatly written, but there was nothing offensively wrong with the writing, but, like, just the story and the fucking leaps of logic and the fucking substituting magic for science bullshit.
Yeah.
Like, that's always going to piss me off.
That became like an in-joke for us. It's like, this is magic, not science.
Exactly. Like, I mean, I don't care if you're going to have magic in your shit.
Yeah.
Just call it magic. Don't try and pass your magic off as science, because, I'm sorry, in the world of fiction, there is room for both.
Yeah.
You know, like, I enjoy fantasy as much as I enjoy sci-fi. Or, you know, fucking anything I watch, read, or otherwise ingest. But man, that one just, like, it was so blatantly fucking just making shit up that just, it's like, no, I don't know if you understand the concept of what you're talking about, but no, that can't happen.
Yeah.
And, like, with science, it can't happen, but you're saying it's happening with science.
Yeah, like the
if
gas
you
that
said
makes them
magic, I could deal with it.
Like,
you know?
we found this magical gas that does this, but no, they tried to solve it with like a certain chemical in a gas.
Yeah,
keeps people awake like, that long, and then they were still alive after they'd like ripped off their skin and stuff. It was just no,
and it's like, yeah, that's. No, that's not how these things work, and I'm really just starting to reiterate the episode.
Yeah.
But, yeah, that one just fucking offended the piss out of me on every level, like, on more levels than any other creepypasta we've read. Honorable mentions, obviously, gotta throw out Cupcake, because...
Seriously.
That was just fucking unnecessary.
Yeah.
God, obviously Jeff the Killer, because
I think Homicidal Lou was actually better than
Homicidal Lou, aside from the horrible translation, was better. And that's, like, it wasn't very good, but it was better than Jeff the Killer.
Okay, what was the one that we just recently did that we, like, both, like, what the fuck? Eyeless Jack was pretty fucking nonsensical in some of the stuff it threw at us.
You know, I fucking can't remember.
It was the one where, like, the guy was getting, like, he had, like, a massive, like, gash in his cheek when he woke up, and he didn't notice it until it was pointed out.
Yeah.
And he was missing his, like...
See, by the time we've gotten around to Eyeless Jack, I'm fucking desensitized to the stupid a little bit. Yeah, Eyeless Jack fucking has to get an honorable mention. I forgot about that. Fuck, what else is there? I mean, there were
some bad ones. Like, I liked the duality of, what's it called? The foul-faced killer and killer of foul.
Actually, just thinking about one of them, whichever one took place in the fucking warehouse. It just, it wasn't, I don't know. I don't think it really deserved an honorable mention, but
it's another one of those,
fucking...
Like, that one was actually... I think that one would have actually been in one of my honorable mentions for a good pasta, because, like, there was a nice, like... mix or a nice dynamic between the two stories with the same subject matter, or like same like character practically. They just were very different takes on the same character.
But yeah,
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah,
no,
without
but,
going over every
yeah,
fucking
'cause-
episode we've done,
save that for
definitely Russian sleep experiment. Just it pissed me off the most. I mean, like, yeah,
Okay.
and also as Godzilla NES for me gets 2 honorable mentions, both as probably one of the more fun episodes to do, and as like one of the most god awful pieces of Drek I've ever read. Like, it was fucking the Zelda one just turned up to
Ben
fucking
drowned.
11. Yeah, it was
Yeah.
Ben drowned turned up to 11 on shit I don't care about, but you fucking wrote it in great detail. Actually, Ben drowned was another pretty fun episode for me.
Yeah, and I that one, I was surprised because I was like, oh man, I love Ben Drown. I'm so happy we're doing it. And then by the end of the episode, I was like, oh god. It's like my favorite pastas are getting shit down the toilet.
That's what happens when you have me read them.
Yes.
But yeah.
Okay,
So,
so
what are your most hated stories? And I'm sure even you have a lot of dishonorable mentions.
Yeah, I guess that's what they call them.
They have no.
Shit. Well, Eyeless Jack is up there, honestly, because even I was like reading, I was like, why? Like, and laughing actually halfway through it, just because of how silly he stops, goes and grabs his wallet because he's gonna need that money. Fuck his brother in the other room. He's just out of there. I remember there was one that I came over the one day. I was like, oh man, I fucking hate this one. Like, I'm gonna be you today. Oh, what the hell was it? Super Mario 64. I think it's a toss between Super Mario 64 and Cupcake, because those ones I remember I remember being told about Cupcake, or seeing Cupcake on the it was one of our emails that were suggested to us. I remember reading through it or listening to a reading of it and just like, what the fuck? Just why does this exist? And then Super Mario 64, just because of how just how dumb the character was. $5 or something like that for...
I'm just gonna fucking mail you some fucking
money,
hard currency,
and then I'm going to expect to get and hope to get a game cartridge that isn't destroyed or broken or something
or nothing.
Yeah. It's definitely a toss up between those ones. I think probably, if you're going on what disturbed me more, or I think Cupcake would work, but I think what disappointed me more was Mario 64. Dishonorable mention would have to be actually the first of the Pokemon games we did, Pokemon Lost Silver, because there was nothing going on in that pasta. If we when we had Gamer in Yellow come over for the Blood Red and Blood Edition Pokemon games, Pokemon stories, they at least had something happening to the character's environment around him while he was playing the games. With Lost Silver, there was nothing going on outside of the character, outside of the game. So it was just the character feeling emotions or feeling something from the depression of the story. But there wasn't anything I never felt the character was actually in danger, and it kind of pissed me off that there's nothing supernatural about this. Aside from
it's just a fucked up game.
And the fact that people have made a ROM of those games, so you can actually go and play that exact experience. So it's there's nothing supernatural about it. It's both cool that somebody did that, but at the same time it's you just proved that nothing in that game was actually supernatural. It's just a hack of the game.
Yeah.
So yeah, that would be my dishonorable mentions. Also, Laughing Jack was pretty bad.
Yeah, I just remembered Laughing Jack and the reaction we got from Solanum.
Oh man,
just because of the fucking.
I felt bad too.
I would have felt bad, but it was fucking funny.
Yeah,
I'm a dick.
He had 5 triggers that episode: dog, bad writing, kids dying, clown.
Yeah,
and then it was just not a fun time.
For him.
It was a fun. It was a fun episode. That would actually be an honorable mention for my favorite episode, because we left your lair and went out to a park in the middle of the night and had Rebel running around and then discussing the pasta on the episode, on a bench. It was a pretty fun time. But yeah, we've had a lot of good and bad.
Yeah. I actually also both of the Disney episodes have actually stuck around in my head.
Mm-hmm.
I don't really necessarily know why, but they do.
Yeah. You're in luck because there's a prequel still, and there's a there's a third sequel.
Am I in luck,
or am I gonna hate you?
Yeah. But yeah, they.
Yeah, they were. I really enjoyed. I don't know. I enjoyed Disney related things, and when you add horror or creepiness to Disney, it works somehow because it works off your childhood memories of Disney.
Yeah,
at least that's what I think it is.
Then you read fucking Cupcake.
Well, yeah, but I mean,
and it's just fucking wrong, right?
Like, I wonder what would happen if like there was actually we had like a brony or like somebody who liked like My Little Pony, either the original ones or the new ones on the show, and had them read a Cupcake or the Rainbow Factory or whatever.
Like I said when we fucking did the episode. If you like My Little Pony, why the fuck would you want to read this? And if you want to read this, why the fuck do you know so much about My Little Pony?
Yeah, exactly. It asks more. It asks more questions about the person reading. Like, we read it because it was suggested to us, and because, like, I mean, that's another thing about the show. I mean, probably people know is that if we're suggested something, it takes priority on the list of stuff we read.
Yeah.
Like, and we have, unfortunately, even with that, we have, 5 or 7 pastas that we still have to do that are priority. because they keep getting keep getting sent to us and stuff, so...
and we just had a fucking month of special where we were kind of ignoring people's recommendation list.
Yeah.
SCP episode was...
it was a different beast.
Yeah, it didn't work for me. For that obvious reason, because it wasn't a fucking story, right?
Yeah.
But I'm looking forward to our new plan with those, because we're going to handle them in a different manner, which will be easier and just a smarter way to handle it.
Yeah.
That way we're not. I can't just be like, well, it's just shit because it's not a story.
Yeah, I'm almost kind of felt like we maybe should have done that with the poetry, but with the poetry, at least it's, I don't know. You live and you learn. That would
think, right?
Yeah, you think we're 53 episodes in. Maybe not.
53 episodes.
Sorry, 54.
And going strong.
Yeah, exactly.
Right, yeah, because, this
54.
is 54.
Yeah. Crazy, eh?
Yeah, where does the time go?
It actually does feel like this year has gone by really quickly with all these I look back and it's like, holy shit, yeah,
not the whole year, just the year of doing the
Yeah, no, that's what I mean. Like, I don't mean like my life has gone by really quickly, but I mean like doing these episodes. Like, I come to your place and do this, and then I leave and edit and post it online, and it's like, wow. We've been doing, and I've looked back a couple of times on, the title cards that we do, and it's just like, wow, I remember that episode.
There's a lot of those.
Yeah. They're growing.
Yeah, it's been a fucking hoot, especially with, whatchamacallit. I love when we have, Sam and Matt, or Sam or Matt, Solanum, Gamer in Yellow, just, they always...
They added another...
They change
opinion.
it up, yeah.
They add an extra, bonus to the episode.
Exactly. They come with their own opinion, their own way of looking at things, and that's... Well, it's fresh for me. It gets... I don't know if you feel this way, but it gets me trying to almost get out of my own box.
Yeah.
Just, to think about things a little bit differently, while still obviously having my own opinion.
Yeah, exactly.
Sorry. Jeez, I don't even know where I was going. I had a fucking... there was a thought, but it's gone now.
But yeah, I don't know. Past year, it's been... I don't know. It's been gone by.
It's been gone by, but it's like... time flies when you're having fun, right?
Yeah. It's been... I love when we get the feedback.
Yeah, that's been... I just like how I just like watching how steadily we've been kind of... it seemed to be growing in people following us on the Kiwi 6 website. It was like, wow.
Yeah, that's...
it's been steady. It's not been crazy going up, but I mean, it's still impressive. I liked it.
Yeah, we have peaks and valleys, but it's, for the most part, steady.
Yeah. Yeah, it's fun, and it's fun when we get emails from people. It's like, oh, yeah, I love what you're doing. Keep up the good work. I don't think, okay, have we? I'm pretty sure we haven't gotten a single piece of hate mail, which has surprised the shit out of me.
Not on the email address.
No. Yeah, we have gotten one disgruntled message, I think, on YouTube.
Well, I did.
Okay, you did.
Apparently, they like you.
Apparently, yeah, somebody came to defend me, I think. So...
It was just you, wasn't it?
Yeah, I set up a new account. But no, like, yeah,
I think
like...
you're really hard on that nice guy that called us.
I think you come across as a dick.
And then... Yeah, I mean, that one was actually just funny because... Honestly, I mean, you and I are friends, so,
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, if I'm hard on you, that's just because, well, yeah, if I'm overly mean to you, that's just our dynamic.
Yeah.
Like, at the end of the day, I mean, no matter how much I cuss you out, we're always, still friends.
Yeah, I'm not
we
leaving.
a bunch of fucking Care Bears.
I'm not leaving your place. Just like, fuck this series, I'm done. Like, I'm never doing this again.
You
like,
show up usually dreading, man, is he gonna fucking hate me?
Yeah. That's true. I've actually come over here. I've even, like, I think I've mentioned
Are we still friends?
Yeah, exactly. It's like, I'm sorry, dude, for making you read this. I think I've mentioned that to, like, Matt from Drunk and the Ugly a couple times.
And
it's
I
like,
haven't even started to poison your coffee once.
man, I forgot about that. I just figured you wouldn't. Way to make me a little bit more paranoid, dude.
Yeah, you know how when you show up and I've already got my cup poured? Yeah.
It's because I put rat poison in the coffee pot already. That's why I don't take a second cup. Suddenly all those times, like, hey man, you want another cup of coffee? It's like, yeah, sure. Suddenly that's all coming back together. Anyway. Yeah, no, it's been a fun, like, there's been some highs, there's been some lows, but it's been an ultimately fun, like, experience.
Yeah.
So, and another thing is, like, it's not even like we get like it's awesome getting, like, stuff from fans. We've also been getting, like, stuff, like, comments, at least on the YouTube, and, like, I think even a couple of emails from writers of the stuff telling us, like we had, like, good opinions, and or, like, they didn't think about when they did this, but, like, that's interesting, or, like, being asked to to look at there's some stuff, or, like, thanking them for this.
Yeah.
It's like, what? Okay.
Yeah, that blows my mind because, I mean, like, I've always known I've had opinions because, well, I'm kind of loud about them. But I never really figured anyone would give a shit.
Yeah. No, exactly.
And that kind of, just brings up the fact that, like, all of the, anytime we get any feedback, it's like, I mean, even if we were to start getting fucking just hate mail, page after page of hate mail, it'd still be like, you know what?
People care enough.
We made these people feel something.
Yeah.
But yeah, it always, I don't know, not reinforces, it's not the word I'm looking for, but it always just, like, makes me feel, like, just floored by the fact that, like, we throw this out there.
And something thrown back at us. In a positive way.
And in any way.
Yeah.
Like, something, like, someone throws something back, and it's like, wow, I don't know. Not like, oh man, we changed the fucking world, but it's like, hey, we fucking...
contributed to the world as a whole.
Exactly. And, I mean, I like to think that because of my fucking rantings and ravings and screaming, people are thinking a little bit, some people at least, are thinking a little bit more about what they're reading.
Yeah.
Be it a creepypasta, be it a book, be it whatever it is.
Mm-hmm.
Not even just what they read, but what they, watch in media, reading news stories, just thinking about, I don't know, again, I might be blowing this up a lot more than it is, and I don't care, it makes me feel good.
Yeah. Yeah, we have been talking a long time about this.
That's what the edit's for.
Yeah. So we've gone through what we liked,
what we
hated from both pasta and show. Anything else we should include?
Just a general thank you to everyone who's been fucking listening for the past year, or, like, even if they haven't been, like, anyone who's listened... Everyone who has listened.
Anyone and everyone who's listened to
Whether they
this.
listen to one episode, every episode, or, just cherry pick the ones with awesome titles, or, crazy title cards because of you.
Yeah. those have been fun to do. Like every week I draw them, and it's just like, what do I make myself and Leviathan do today in these arts?
But yeah, it's, I mean, it's not like we're stopping, but
No.
the fact that we've got these people listening, you know, just gives us more drive to keep doing it.
Yeah.
At least
Yeah.
for me.
Yeah, exactly. And big hand, honestly, to like the guys of the Drunk and the Ugly, like Matt, Sam, who were kind enough to come onto the show for specials.
Oh man, fucking Matt just fucking
Oh yeah, that
took over
the Godzilla
for
NES.
Godzilla NES.
Like I remember, like he was telling me like months before that recording, just like, oh man, I've taken notes. They're like 7 pages long. I was like, pfft. I mean, the
we were
jot
like,
notes.
notes?
What are you talking about? Getting rid of revealing some trade secrets on the show, but
It's just-
we do take
it's-
some notes.
We
not a
do
lot.
things a little differently.
We do things a little bit more free form.
Yeah.
But yeah, like that was like his rundown of like such a champ, fucking doing that
It was
entire.
a fucking marathon rundown. That was... Yeah.
Yeah, like the only thing I think I've ever come close to doing that was probably the Marble Hornets one last week, because I had actually sat down that morning and like gone through like key points for each season, and yeah, no, that was definitely Matt, you're a trooper.
Yeah. He definitely gets an honorable mention just because of that.
Yeah. Also, anybody like just actually, no, even the creators of every pasta we've done, like.
Well, I mean, without them, where the hell would we be?
Exactly, yeah. Like, again, we don't do this at ever, like, really in bad taste or, like, in anger.
Well, I
toward
might
the
do it
person.
in bad taste, but I don't do it out of spite.
Yeah, we don't do it out of hate for the people who create these things. Like, there's a reason I started this podcast, because I liked reading these things.
Yeah, and I mean, if anyone who has, you know, written a pasta that we've done and they've listened to our story or listened to our the episode on it,
Don't take it.
maybe I'm yelling.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm angry as fuck. But honestly, I'm saying it for not just for them, but for anyone who reads the story and sees the same problems. I'm
Voicing your opinion on it.
I'm voicing an opinion, and I'm honestly trying to help people avoid the same pitfalls when they do their own shit.
Yeah.
That's, you know, like, I get my point across better. I feel, well,
When you
know,
rant, when the soapbox comes out.
I articulate better when I'm yelling at something.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sometimes profanity gets your point across.
What was that? What was the episode where you pretty much told the majority of the internet dumb?
Is it Jeff the Killer?
I almost want to think of that or Ben Drowned, I think.
Maybe. No, I wasn't overly mean in Ben
No.
Drowned, I don't think.
Yeah, I just remember, like, you were even, like, concerned about that one. Where it's just like, man, I come off as a dick in this one.
Yeah.
But, I mean, like, it's not, like, again, like, we don't say it, like, in total seriousness. Like, or, like, we don't, like, hate, like, have, like, huge hate boners for anything.
don't hate the person who wrote Russian Sleep Experiment. I hate their story, but I hope that anything they've written after that was better.
Yeah.
And if my rantings and ravings have helped in anyone write anything a little bit better, then yeah, I have no apologies for being so fucking crass.
Fair enough. Yeah. Well, I think, yeah, we've gone through the highlights, the lowlights. We've done the thanks. Because, again, thank you all, whoever's listening to this, whoever writes the creepypasta that we do, whoever does readings. Because, like, I mean, we've kind of, I remember, like, we've been pretty much promoting, like, the reading podcast as much as our own stuff.
Yeah, I've still yet to actually utilize one of those, but man,
You get closer. You're getting closer to that line, that edge.
well, I mean, I read it once and then...
Yeah, I mean, yeah, like
Good to go.
I read through them like once, and then like I use the readings have been really helpful as a refresher, like because I don't always have enough time to reread something before a show, so it's much easier and much more entertaining, I find, to just listen to somebody else read the story to me, and especially when like it's really well done. Like the majority of them have been really well read, edited well, and like added in like sound effects and stuff, which are always good, and ambient music or ambient like theme in the background, like for the atmosphere. yeah, so by again, like, thank you everybody who's done this. We're gonna keep doing this, and we'll see what the next year holds. So I guess with that, I think we're pretty good for the end of this episode.
Yep.
So once again, as always, you can reach us at Twitter. I am the resident twit on at Review Cultist, though Dr. Leviathan does have his own at Dr. Leviathan on Twitter. You can send us messages or comments and whatnot in comment sections wherever this gets posted, whether it be on YouTube, Tumblr, Facebook, Kiwi6. We are on iTunes, so send us a review. Let us know how we've been doing this last year. And also, we now have a donate button on the Tumblr site. So I will have it'll all be in the description below. So yeah, if you feel like we've done a worthy enough job that denotes maybe even a little bit of patronship,
if you want to help us out,
yeah.
I'm pretty sure I've said this before, but anything accumulated through that donate button is going to go
straight to our Al Dente podcast.
Into Al Dente Rigamortis. Straight into the podcast,
YouTube channel stuff.
There are other projects that we want to do, but
primarily the podcast. I mean, it's all related to it, but yeah, like we have some small projects we want to do regarding like other takes on the stuff from the podcast that we can't really do on the main show.
Yeah.
So we'd like to get that done. It'll all go to supporting the site or supporting the podcast. So and as always, you can send us emails at aldenterigamortis@gmail.com. That's aldenterigamortis@gmail.com, where you can also send us suggestions for other creepypastas. Like I said, we have a running list going on right now with about 5 or 7 priority creepypastas that we will start getting to now that our major special series is over.
If you want to help us out with Slender Month next year,
shoot us.
Apparently, that's going to be a thing, whether I want it or not.
Yes. Exactly. Just send us an email. Even if you want, you know what? Honestly, if you feel that we have been too harsh on something, and you want to complain, go for it. I want it. I don't want to see it, but I want to see it. Because I've been floored that we haven't gotten any this year. I'm happy we haven't. Don't get me wrong. But anyway, I'm probably rambling more than I should be. Just digging that grave.
That's just the episode this week.
Yeah. So, as always, I have been your host, Review Cultist.
And I'm still Dr. Leviathan for a year now.
Yep. And this has been Al Dente Rigamortis. All of you, sleep well.